Mindful of the poll code put in place by the Election Commission, the Prime Minister delivered a 90-minute masterclass, viewers, in taking out his opponents using only the power of innuendo and the force of facts. Remember, because of the poll code, he could not mention, for example, Arvind Kejriwal by name. But viewers, he laced his statements with enough references, indirect ones, with great felicity to expose the AAP chief. So much so that the AAP chief has not been able to counter the Prime Minister because the Prime Minister did not name him. The Prime Minister, viewers, in the Lok Sabha today was intent upon making 2 points. First, that if Rahul Gandhi cannot be trusted with telling the truth to the public, then his party cannot be trusted to keep the promises it's making to voters. To establish that Rahul Gandhi was being economical with the facts yesterday, the Prime Minister fell back on several tactics to expose the alleged hollowness of the claims made by Congress Party's poll mascot on social justice for backward classes, poverty alleviation, fidelity to Constitution, and pledges made to the public about modernizing India. The Prime Minister's second main objective was to convince the public that Kejriwal's talk about the AAP being the beacon of honesty in politics was an elaborate smokescreen, a facade. Thus, Prime Minister's references to Sheesh Mahal was an attempt to turn the Delhi election tomorrow into a referendum on Kejriwal's integrity. Viewers, listen in.
5 दशक तक गरीबी हटाओ के नारे सुने हो और अब 25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले। जो लोग गरीबों की झोंपड़ियों में फोटो सेशन कराकर अपना मनोरंजन करते रहते हैं, उन्हें संसद में गरीबों की बात बोरिंग ही लगेगी। कि दिल्ली से 1 रुपया निकलता है तो गांव में 15 पैसा पहुंचता है। अब उस समय तो पंचायत से लेकर पार्लियामेंट तक एक ही पार्टी का राज था। पंचायत से पार्लियामेंट तक एक ही पार्टी का राज था और उस समय उन्होंने सार्वजनिक रूप से कहा था कि 1 रुपया निकलता है 15 पैसा पहुंचता है। बहुत गजब की हाथ सफाई थी। कुछ नेताओं का फोकस घरों में जकूजी पर, स्टाइलिश शावर्स पर, लेकिन हमारा फोकस तो हर घर जल पहुंचाने पर है। आदरणीय सभापति जी, हमने ये जो अलग अलग कदम उठाए उससे लाखों करोड़ रुपए की बचत हुई, लेकिन उन पैसों का उपयोग हमने शीश महल बनाने के लिए नहीं किया। इसका उपयोग हमने देश बनाने के लिए किया।
Viewers, apart from highlighting the hypocrisies, the fakeries, at least the alleged ones, the Prime Minister then capped his speech with an audacious jibe that this was just his government's third term, suggesting that the BJP's record in office was incomparable and that the opposition had a lot to do yet to win public confidence before it could dream of unseating the NDA. Listen into this, viewers.
हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते? इस विश्वास के साथ हमें आगे बढ़ना है और हम भी 2047 जब देश आजाद होगा तब आजादी के 100 साल होंगे जब तब हम विकसित भारत बन के रहेंगे। ये सपने लेकर के चलना चाहिए। और आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं विश्वास से कहता हूं हमें और बड़े लक्ष्य पार करने और हम करके रहेंगे। और माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, ये तो अभी हमारी तीसरी ही टर्म है। हम देश की आवश्यकता के अनुसार आधुनिक भारत बनाने के लिए, सक्षम भारत बनाने के लिए और विकसित भारत का संकल्प साकार करने के लिए हम आने वाले अनेक वर्षों तक जुटे रहने वाले।
Viewers, the Prime Minister's speech prompts several questions. The first, has Prime Minister's facts-based counterattack discredited Rahul Gandhi in the eyes of the voting public? What do you think? What does the panel think? I'll open this out, viewers. If the Congress party's most public face cannot be trusted with telling the truth, how can this party be trusted to keep its words to the public, viewers? Another question, by focusing on AAP's duplicity over Sheesh Mahal, has the Prime Minister turned the Delhi poll into a referendum on AAP's integrity? Question 4, has the Prime Minister exposed the opposition's electoral short-sightedness of making claims without backing them with facts? Viewers, these are some fundamental questions. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, will be here with us in just a short while. Sanjay Jha, political analyst, Dr. Ranganathan and Akashdeep Muni complete the quorum. I want to begin with you first, Dr. Ranganathan. How do you locate the Prime Minister's 90-minute, and some people are calling this a 90-minute exposition, in using innuendo and facts, most importantly facts, to expose the opposition as a charlatan? Do you think he succeeded in doing that? And if so, how?
I think, good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I think he's succeeded all right. And he is right in quoting and asking people to read that book on JFK. But to be honest, I want to concentrate only on that. One doesn't need to read a book to appreciate the kindness of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty. Nehru gave Aksai Chin to China. Indira gave Kachativu to Lanka. Rajiv gave Rahul to India. No, but seriously, these dynasts have always treated our territories like pearls on a necklace around their entitled necks, as if it is theirs to gift away. Two issues here. First, the Congress psyche. The Congress's idea of Indian foreign policy, Rahul, is Indian policy dictated by foreigners. Right from the time when Dr. Ambedkar resigned from the Congress in 1951, warning that under Nehru, India was being made to champion China's cause and that its suicidal foreign policy would lead to the ruination of India. To Congress presiding over the loss of Aksai Chin and nonchalantly claiming not a blade of grass grows there. To Nehru thoughtlessly taking Kashmir to the UN against Patel's counsel. To Nehru rejecting the King of Nepal's offer to merge Nepal with India. To Nehru declining Oman's offer of Godar port. To Nehru giving up on Coco Islands. To Nehru rebuffing an offer to India to be a permanent member of the UN Security Council and advocating that China should become one. To Nehru being the root cause of Kachutivu as well. It was he who said in 1961, and I quote, "I attach no importance to this little island, and I'll have no hesitation in giving up our claims to it," unquote. The dutiful daughter then carried out Nehru's unfinished business in 1974. The island was signed away as, quote, "It was a dispute site and India's claim had to be balanced with the need for good bilateral ties," unquote. That's right. At the altar of good bilateral ties, you give away our precious land to Pakistan, to China, to Lanka. Land bhi chala gaya, good bilateral ties bhi. But that's not all. We need to talk about contemporary times. The same Rahul who today accuses Modi of selling India out. The same Rahul was tight-lipped when China occupied 640 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh during UPA, a fact reiterated by UPA's own foreign secretary. Who knows? Perhaps calling for the breakup of Ladakh was an obligation on part of the Congress in that MOU that it signed with the Communist Party in China back in 2008. The same Rahul was tight-lipped when China managed to make 600 incursions into Indian side between 2010 and 2013, including in 2013, when the Chinese entered 28 kilometers deep into our territory at Depsang. The same Rahul was silent at our capitulation in the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement under UPA, where we allowed the insinuation that we were fomenting trouble in Baluchistan. Worse, Air Chief Dhanoa is on record saying that the Indian Air Force wanted to bomb terror hideouts in Pakistan in the wake of 2611, but was forbidden to do so by Manmohan Singh. Kashmir, Ladakh, Koko, Kachativu, these were pearls in the necklace that adorned the dynast's neck. Small mercy, Rahul, the entire necklace hasn't been taken off and gifted away, but who knows? It just might. If the Congress returns to power in 2029, it is up to Modi 4.0 to stop that. Just 30 seconds. Look, India has forever had a shambolic foreign policy under the Congress, because of which we've always been made to sit on a rickety stool adjacent to the big table. Under Modi, we have finally begun to drag a chair and sit alongside the powers that are. Balakot and Ukraine are examples of this. Clearly, the Congress doesn't like India being independent and standing up.
Let me bring in Sudhanshu Trivedi ji as well as Sanjay Jha. Trivedi ji, the Congress is today saying that the Prime Minister used the Parliament to make a political intervention, keeping in mind the Delhi elections, that he turned a response to the motion into a transactional vote-getting stump speech. How do you respond to this?
Actually, those who are trying to make this allegation, they are not able to understand what the mindset of Prime Minister is for the welfare of these people. I would like to remind, Prime Minister had said that he has provided 4 crore houses to the poor. This scheme has started when? In 2015 or so. Jan Dhan Yojana was started in 15th of August 2014. That was his first speech after becoming Prime Minister. There was no issue of election. So I think whatever he was carrying in the mind, and he has taken it to successful conclusion. So those things are there, has nothing to do with the elections. But the problem is that whether election or not election, Rahul Gandhi uses to keep these type of things, where Prime Minister has said that unless those people speak about the foreign policy, they doesn't seem to be mature. Now look at the maturity what they have shown. Already Mr. Anand Ranganathan has given several accounts. I would like to just give 2 accounts. Mr. Sanjay Jha, I think he should put a proper attention on it. In 1950, Jawaharlal Nehru's government has written a letter through Mr. K.M. Panikkar, who was an ambassador in China, to Chinese government, which was mentioning that India accept Tibet's Chinese sovereignty over Tibet. China has asked that India should accept the Chinese suzerainty over Tibet, but they have mentioned Chinese sovereignty over Tibet. Then the question was asked in the parliament. At the time, I am not remembering the exact name, the MOS Foreign Affairs was a lady. And then the minister has given a statement on the floor of the house that government was not intending to put that sovereignty, that was by mistake. Then why the letter was not withdrawn? Then why there was no action on Mr. K.M. Panikkar? And Panikkar has referred in several that it was in the proper instruction that they have accepted the sovereignty. And Mr. Sanjay Jha, you remember, on 21st of May, what I remember in 1952, in a press conference, question was asked to Jawaharlal Nehru. It is mentioned in selected words of Jawaharlal Nehru. I can give you, if you required, a proper exact page and reference. That Panditji, you have provided the rice to the Chinese army in Tibet. You know what was the response of Nehru? Yes, we have then, because it is a little amount and we do not want them to die. And you know what was the little amount? It was 3,000 tons of rice provided to army of China, which was in Tibet doing atrocities. And why they asked, it was given to from India? Because till that time there was no road network as today is in Tibet. Their nearest city was Chengdu. It was more than 2,000 kilometers from Lhasa. And our Tawang was 270 or less than 300 kilometers. And till that time, the roads towards India were good, because there was centuries of trade going on with Tibet and others. And towards them were not. Chinese army should have been forced to withdraw if the India would have, and Nehru's government would have not provided the rice. Sir, this was the level. It was not just a mistake. It was a phenomenal blunder of a person who wants to make his image larger than life, to become a claimant for Nobel Prize at the cost of the country.
Okay.
And what he is saying about the difference with the army, what was the reaction of General Cariappa vis-a-vis Nehru. Just one thing I would like to quote Rahul, one more thing. When we got independence in 1947, China was not having Air Force. China's Air Force established in 1949, and we were having Air Force since 1932 because of the British legacy. Because of Second World War, there were so many ordnance factories were there in India, but China was not having. But suddenly within 12-13 years, China's army has become very powerful and we got bad. So, इसीलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं साहब, ये नहीं है कि लम्हों ने खता की थी सदियों ने सजा पाई। ये तो वो जुर्म है जो देश के साथ किए गए हैं, और ये सब लिखत पढ़त में अवेलेबल है, और बहुत सी चीजें तो नेहरू जी के हाथ के लिखे हुए अवेलेबल है।
Okay, Sanjay Jha, the Prime Minister today got up and said you abuse the Constitution, you mock social justice by making it an exercise in appeasement, you mock secularism by selectively disadvantaging one section of this entire social fabric, which are the Hindus. You mock the poor by, and this is a phrase that he has used, not me, by diverting 85 paisa from every 1 rupee that was spent on poverty alleviation. What does the Congress represent? And has the Prime Minister's fact-based counterattack discredited Rahul Gandhi in the eyes of the voting public? Simple question tonight. He couldn't defend his facts. Rahul Gandhi yesterday completely exposed on his attack on the Election Commission with regards to Maharashtra. And today the Prime Minister ripping into all the points he made, putting facts. Respond with facts, sir.
Okay, Rahul, you have given around 4.5 minutes to both Sudhanshu and to Dr. Ranganathan. Kindly maintain the same decorum in the fairness of a neutral debate, and do not interrupt me with your sudden burst of abrupt questioning when I'm in the flow of my thoughts. Let me start. Let me remind my friend Sudhanshu, you know who recognized Tibet? Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, your weak, cowardly government under Dr. Vajpayee. Let me read out to you. After Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's visit to China in June 2003, a joint declaration was signed, which followed Mr. Vajpayee's visit to China, in which India recognized that Tibet was now part of the People's Republic of China. Shame on you. Point number 2, a lot of lecture on patriotism. Ladies and gentlemen, Mohan Bhagwat, the boss of this entire right-wing ecosystem, the boss of the BJP and the Bajrang Dal and the VHP. You know what he tells us all, ladies and gentlemen, watching CNN News 18? That India did not become independent in August 15th, 1947. India got independence when the Ram Temple consecration happened. The biggest insult to Gandhi, to Sardar Patel, to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, to Maulana Azad, to all the thousands of freedom fighters who died for our country. What a shame you are on the face of this country, the BJP. You know why they did that? You know why Mohan Bhagwat said it? Because the BJP, its founders, the Mahasabha, the RSS, other than murdering Gandhi and celebrating Nathuram Godse, they went with hands folded to the British for forgiveness, and they had zero role in India's Quit India movement or India's freedom. Point number 4, Manipur burns, but Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister, for over 2 years, he has no time to solve it. He hasn't even been there. And you lecture the people of India, the Congress and the AAP or the opposition in patriotism, in nationalism. You're a repugnant, reprehensible scam on the face of this earth. Point number 5. This is the same political party that has lied since the last 10 years, mocked our constitution, because the RSS did not even celebrate the Indian flag, did not even put up the tricolors for 50 years after our independence. That's your commitment. Because for you, all
Okay.
along, India never belonged to everybody. It belonged to a few. My last point, because I want to expose a lot of these digital teleprompters who speak breathlessly on many shows, that India has become a misinformation and disinformation capital of the world under the BJP. All you see is WhatsApp University, fake news, manipulation of facts and data. And may I ask Sudhanshu Trivedi and Anand Ranganathan to kindly tell the viewers, who is urban Naxal that the Prime Minister was talking about? I have tried to look for the definition. It was started by social media trollers. I used to see some Bollywood and the typical internet
Okay.
fanatics using that term.
I can fill in that
Who's
blank.
an urban Naxal?
I can fill
Can
in
you
that
tell
blank.
us all?
I can fill in that blank. Sir, if you had read your contemporary history, you would have found it in the Supreme Court affidavit of the Home Ministership, under the Home Ministership of Mr. Chidambaram, under the UPA. He's the one who came up with this term, urban Naxal, and he's also the one who came up with the term saffron terror, by the way, to try and suggest that 2611 was carried out by others, not others that are the Hindus, but
Rahul,
not,
one of them was
but not, no, no, one
Maharashtra
second,
who's
but not
with the
Kasab and
BJP.
company. I'm only pointing out, sir, since you're,
Rane is with the BJP,
okay, one
ask him.
second. One second, I'm only pointing out the facts. Since my
Rane
show,
is with the BJP.
sir, please, since my show is called The Hard Facts, I'm only pointing out the hard facts to you. Please look up, do a Google on it right now and see the affidavit of the Congress party in the Supreme Court. Okay? And it was filed by not me, but by Mr. Chidambaram, the doyen of the Congress party. Also, viewers, if anyone who invokes sedition, not once, not twice, but about 6,000 times in just one day, it was Mr. Chidambaram making a complete mockery of human rights. And three, let me also tell you, viewers, if there was anyone in this country that went after NGOs and blacklisted them, it was Mr. Chidambaram. And if it was anyone else, viewers, it was Kapil
Rahul, why
Sibal who
did this
defended Section
nonsense say all
66A that would put a further shackle on free speech. So I'm just talking about constitution. But the fact is, viewers, that what did Sanjay Jha talk about? And I want to bring in the MP from the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sudhanshu Trivedi, and the national spokesperson. He said it was Atal Bihari Vajpayee who recognized Tibet, Bhagwat who did not, who said that India is not independent. Yes, you want to make a point, Dr. Ranganathan, very quickly before I bring in Sudhanshu ji. Yes, aap haath utha rahe. Yes.
Yeah, it is ironical that your show is called Hard Facts.
Yeah.
When you bring in people who are Congress cheerleaders, Congress and Hard Facts is like, gel as much as Taliban and women rights. In 1954, 29th April, under the Panchsheel Agreement, it was India and Nehru that recognized Tibet as part of China. भाई हिस्ट्री नहीं पढ़नी आती, साइंस तो दूर की बात है, थोड़ा अपना ही कांग्रेस का ही पढ़ लो भाई.
Okay.
Information,
Sudhanshu
fake
Trivedi,
news,
please
conspiracy
respond.
theory,
Let me
liar.
bring him in. Let me bring him in. Hard facts pouring out of every crevice, viewers, tonight. Yes.
Almost every.
Sir, Mr. Sanjay Jha, I would just like to put 4 or 5 hard facts. Nothing other than. I've already quoted 1950 letter of the government of India, which has said the Chinese sovereignty over Tibet. Anand Ranganathan has quoted 54. In Bandung Conference of 1955, Nehru has put veto that despite capture of the Tibet, you have to invite China, otherwise I will also withdraw. And in 2003, this was the only visit in which an Indian Prime Minister has got one thing in favor of China, in favor of India from China. China forfeited its claim on Sikkim. You are telling a lie, sir. 2003, Vajpayee got that the China withdrawn its claim from Sikkim. After 2003, you just quote a single instance in which China has claimed Sikkim. Now, as far as what Bhagwat ji has said that in 15th of August 1947, we got independent, we got self-rule, but not self-esteem. Now, just 4 or 5 hard facts. Mr. Sanjay Jha, we got independence on 15th of August 1947. Then, why Mr. Viceroy remained till 30th of June 1948, Mountbatten? You know the army chief remained till 1949, General Francis Rai Butcher, and this was independence. You know the air chief of India was till 1954, Air Chief Marshal Gerard Gibbs, and this was the independence. And you, the naval chief of India, was British till 1958. Stephen Carlyle, what you are talking about, sir? Till 1972, or before the Amar Jawan Jyoti was established by Indira Gandhi, all Indian Prime Ministers were giving homage to Gateway of India, the soldiers who have laid down their life for For whom? For British Empire. Till 1977, all UPSC exams only in English. Till 1997, Vajpayee government came, India's budget was presented at 5 p.m. in the evening. Why? This was the British tradition, because at the time in London it was 11:30, so it used to be 5 p.m. Vajpayee government has done away with that, and the budget was established on 20th of February or 1st of March. Modi government has decided to withdraw, because in Britain it was 1st of March when this ice start melting. सर क्या बात करते हैं सर आप? किश्तों में आजादी दिलवाई आपने, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं था. और मैं लास्ट में एक बात कहना चाहता हूं, अगर महात्मा गांधी की समाधि पे लिखा हुआ हे राम था और राम ताले में बंद थे, तो वो स्वतंत्रता पूरी नहीं थी. अगर राम एक गुलामी के ढांचे में थे तो स्वतंत्रता पूरी नहीं थी. महात्मा गांधी के राम को पूर्ण स्वतंत्रता उस दिन मिली, पूर्ण प्राण प्रतिष्ठा उस दिन मिली, 22 जनवरी 2024. So the Gandhian concept has also got, so the real realization of independence was on 22nd of. अगर एक फैक्ट मैंने गलत बोला हो, संजय झा जी मैं चैलेंज करता हूं, बताइए 11 साल तक नेवी चीफ चोर रहा, 7 साल एयरफोर्स चीफ चोर रहा.
Contradict with facts, sir. Facts versus facts tonight. If you don't have the facts, if you have soft facts, put down your arms and say, look, I surrender to the barrage.
सुधांशु जी, आपको संक्षेप में मैं जवाब दे रहा हूं. आपने अंग्रेजों का यहां आलोचना किया, हम आपके साथ हैं, लेकिन भैया आप तो अंग्रेजों से ही प्रेरणा लिया आपने. अंग्रेजों ने तो हमें हमारी देश पर कब्जा किया डिवाइड एंड रूल की पॉलिटिक्स से, और आप भी तो वही डिवाइड एंड रूल की रणनीति से देश चला रहे हैं. आपके तो इंस्पिरेशन रोल मॉडल अंग्रेज.
Hard facts, sir. Hard facts. Hard facts, not rhetoric. You're back to rhetoric.
अदानी के पीआर फर्म हो चुके हैं. आप तो गौतम अदानी के लीगल काउंसिल हो
अरे
चुके हैं.
देखिए व्यूअर्स, अब अडानी आ गया एंड रेटरिक आ गया, हार्ड फैक्ट्स गया.
हार्ड फैक्ट्स.
You know, viewers,
नहीं काउंटर कर पाया आजादी के बाद से लेके 2024 तक.
not one substantive return. Now I just want to say, viewers, let me read out some hard facts. Rahul Gandhi yesterday led a massive tirade against the Election Commission. Now, with regard to Rahul Gandhi's allegations in Lok Sabha on sudden unexplained voter additions in rolls in Maharashtra assembly polls in 2024, here are some facts, viewers. As per data available, of the seats where electors increased from Maharashtra Lok Sabha to Vidhan Sabha, the opposition won 87 of these seats. So he was complaining how the EC added electors. In all those seats, mostly, viewers, 87 of them, it was the NCP, the SP, the Congress and the UBT that won. CPIM and AIMM were the main beneficiaries. Can you imagine, viewers? Can you imagine? In Bid, where NCP Sharad Pawar won, 19,312 new voters were added, and NCP won with 5,324 votes. Had those votes not been added, wo haar jate. In North Nagpur, 23,421 new voters were added by the Election Commission, and the Congress won with 28,000 votes, in fact 5,000 more. Imagine if those 23 had not been added, viewers. The margin would have been very tight.
Rahul is the guy who axes his foot that he's already shot.
Yeah, well, you know, and this is one Rahul who actually puts his best foot forward with hard facts. So the 70 lakh estimate of voters added in Maharashtra between Lok Sabha and Assembly polls last year, cited by leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi in Lok Sabha, exceeds EC figures by 22 lakhs. He made up 22 lakh people, viewers. Then let me tell you, viewers, this is quite amazing. Rahul Gandhi complained in Lok Sabha that there was a non-availability of voter lists from Maharashtra during the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections of 2024. Now, what does the data tell you, viewers? That free copies of the draft and final electoral rolls of the state were provided to the Congress on at least 12 occasions between 2019 and 2024. Viewers, I want to therefore reframe that question. If the Congress party's most public face cannot be trusted with telling the truth, how can his party be trusted to keep its word to electors, to voters? Voting is tomorrow, viewers, and let me now bring in Akashdeep Muni. Muni Saab, I just want you to answer by focusing on AAP's duplicity over Sheesh Mahal has the Prime Minister turned the Delhi poll into a referendum of AAP's integrity? आप अपने आप को कहते हैं कि we do not want VIP privileges, etc., leaders on record. And he's defending the Sheesh Mahal. Why hasn't the Sheesh Mahal been declared open by your people? Instead of getting Atishi to stay there or others to stay there, what is it that you want to do with that? Why don't you open it as a 5-star resort? 5-star resort owned by the Delhi government to promote tourism and make some money. Why haven't I heard that from the AAP as yet?
Rahulji, of course, why not?
Why not?
It is the keys are with the PWD reporting to the Delhi LG. They can do anything. They have thrown the Chief Minister out. But my point is today.
No, my point is this. I'm asking you, if Akashdeep Muni, no, this was in public service and public interest. Please answer this question. Why hasn't Kejriwal said, okay, look, I don't want the keys to this castle. I was not making it for myself. No, 1 second. I have made this for the people. I want this to now become a 5-star resort where I will be giving Vedic massage treatment. I will be giving spiritual wellness treatments in the big jacuzzi, the big sauna, and the massive steam room.
See, whatever rhetoric you want to put, you can put. But today, the Delhi voter will be voting, Rahulji, on the basis of the 8,000 schools that has been closed in Assam and 2,500 new classrooms made in Delhi. Delhi will be voting the 24 hours electricity that is provided in Delhi and not in 20 states that is governed by Bharatiya Janata Party. Tell me one state where 24 hours.
I'll switch this around. I'll ask you, Mr. Muni, if the AAP loses, will you accept? No, 1 second. You are making this now about a referendum on performance. If the AAP were to lose, I'm just saying, will you accept that Kejriwal failed to provide development, or will you blame the electoral machinery, the BJP's muscle mania, and voter manipulation? What will you blame? I'm asking you, will you blame Kejriwal?
Rahulji, if Aam Aadmi Party will win, then would you agree that this is a failure of Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister?
Obviously, it will be taken as that because the Prime Minister has said my record is on office. No, hang on. No. 1 second. The Prime Minister himself will come and say I need to do more work. But I'm asking you, if the AAP loses, will you concede that this was a referendum against Kejriwal and the work that he has supposedly done? Yes or no?
Sir, I want to ask you that if Kejriwal wins, would you agree that this is a referendum against Narendra Modi?
I have said so. In fact, he will also say it. I'm asking you now. I'm asking you.
I agree with your point. But
you agree. You will agree. Okay, viewers, I'm not going to say much. The voter will decide tomorrow. On Saturday, we will know. If the AAP loses, Akashdeep Muni will be reminded. Yes. No, 1 second. Dr. Ranganathan is pointing at something. Yes.
No, I'm just, Dr. Muni, I didn't interrupt you. Dr. Muni, I didn't interrupt you. No, Rahul, I just...
Ranganathan, you have spoken much. We have heard you much. I have been hearing you last 30 minutes. Now, let me rebut you. That the Honorable Prime Minister speaks about a number of things. But till now, he has not spoken about that why about his Viksit Bharat scheme. Now, I'll tell you why in his Viksit Bharat scheme, in the last 4 years, 61,000 MSME has been closed.
Okay.
Why in his Viksit Bharat the target, why the manufacturing target of 14% is not met and it is only 5%?
Okay, can I ask you a simple question, Mr. Muni? Fair enough. All these issues you have raised several times and the public has voted him back. Is it not true? The public has voted him back. Now I'm asking you, if you're looking at electoral results as the benchmark, I'm asking you, sir, when Mr. Kejriwal came out of jail, before the Lok Sabha elections, he says the people of Delhi must rise and punish those who have jailed me. How many seats did Mr. Kejriwal win in Delhi? 0 in the Lok Sabha, viewers. That means the people of Delhi think he's guilty. We already have a result. But Kejriwal did not accept it, and don't expect him to accept it, viewers, on Saturday. 1 second, BJP MP. No, Mr. Trivedi wants to respond to you. Dr. Ranganathan is showing the dirty face of the Yamuna. Yes.
What do you think Rahul?
No, it's not Yamuna. Just because my time, I don't know. Dr.
Rahul-
Muni never does this. Unexpectedly, he's eaten into my time. Be that as it may, I hope he won't interrupt me anymore.
Yeah.
You see, you remember in Ethiopia when you had Salasi and when he was having this palace like the Sheesh Mahal.
Yeah.
Then the BBC did a very interesting thing. It actually put that palace picture side by side next to impoverished population of Ethiopia.
Okay.
And this is what I want to show the Aam Aadmi. This is how the Aam Aadmi is living.
Okay.
These photos tweeted
Sudhanshu
by
Trivedi.
Aam Aadmi Swati Maliwal.
Okay.
And is this what Sheesh Mahal is what all about? Dr. Muni, please
Give it
answer.
to the public. Give it to the public. Open it up to the public. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Bharatiya Janata Party, this picture prove it.
Sudhanshu
I will
Trivedi.
just give
He's
just
just
facts.
two Jab Bharatiya
Rahul,
Janata
just
Party.
facts. Number one, when Aam Aadmi Party rose to power in 2015-16, Delhi was having a surplus budget. It was 1.54% surplus of the revenue.
Yeah.
Then gradually the surplus starts coming down. Last year it's come to 0.3% of the budget, and now it is going towards a deficit. That's why this year Delhi government has asked the National Small
Okay.
Scale Saving Fund a loan of 10,000 crore rupees.
Okay,
So that
viewers,
is just a
look,
hard
I don't
fact
want
anybody
to,
can
I don't
go
want
and
to fall
confirm. And
foul
one
of
more
the
thing I would
election
like to-
commission. Sudhanshuji, let's not fall foul of the election commission. The Prime Minister never named Mr. Kejriwal. Tomorrow is an election. We don't want to be accused of influencing its course. But I think enough has been said. I want to move on, viewers, because we have a very, very sensitive story to discuss. Viewers, we have a parliament that is the only constitutional forum empowered to make laws. We have a parliament to ensure that laws are framed on the back of deliberation and consensus. Those laws that are introduced as bills are passed on the back of a majority, a parliamentary majority. Or, viewers, rejected on the back of a parliamentary veto, not a street veto. We have a parliament in this country that represents the people's will. Once parliament passes a law, then the citizens have an obligation to obey it. If anyone has a problem with it, they must challenge it lawfully in court. There can be peaceful protest, but no call for insurrection, especially violent insurrection. The people's will cannot be held hostage to the spectre of violence. But that is exactly what MIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi is threatening. Here are his chilling words that remind of the provocation issued to fearmonger among Muslims in the past, like in 2020, viewers, anti-CA riots. This is what Mr. Owaisi has said in the context of the parliament considering the Waqf Bill in the next few days.
Sir, I am cautioning and warning this government. If you bring and make a Waqf law in the present form, which will be violation of Article 25, 26 and 14, it will lead to social instability in this country. It has been rejected by the entire Muslim community. No Waqf property will be left. Nothing will be left, I say. You want to make India Viksit Bharat? We want Viksit Bharat. Because as a proud Indian Muslim, I will not lose an inch of my masjid. Forget about a masjid. I will not lose an inch of my dargah. This is the house which I have to stand up and say honestly that my community, which you are proud Indians, it is my property, not given by anyone. You cannot snatch it away from me.
Waqf is a form of worship for me. As a proud Indian Muslim, I will not lose an inch of my masjid. Owaisi, viewers, is a repeat offender at inciting Muslims with fear. His party colleagues are repeat offenders and have often called for extrajudicial violent solutions to issues, which is a total abnegation of constitutionalism, which is an open invitation to civil war, which is an open pitch for Muslim exclusivism. Sample this. Asaduddin Owaisi, AMM chief, said in December 2024, when Yogi will return to his mutt, when Prime Minister Modi will go to the hills, who will save you? Viewers, this is what he said. Who is he trying to threaten here? Asaduddin Owaisi, AMM chief, in May 2024 said, Modi government and BJP have declared war against Indian Muslims similar to Jews under Hitler, viewers. Then in January 2024, he says, we have lost Babri Mosque. Shouldn't we be angry? These forces are targeting your faith to end your unity. Then viewers, his colleague, one-time MP, Imtiaz Jalil said, if Nupur Sharma is to be hanged, hang her from this square in Aurangabad. Owaisi and his party's position raised serious questions. Does Owaisi and his party think they are above parliament? Is Owaisi stoking a sense of Muslim separatism and entitlement? Who is the MIM to claim ownership over mosques in this country? How is Owaisi not guilty of promoting enmity between communities? Viewers, these are fundamental questions and I'm going to ask them tonight, backed by a plea for action against Mr. Owaisi. And let's go straight across to AIMIM national spokesperson who joins me, Waris Pathan. He's also a leading lawyer. We also have Sudhanshuji. We also have Dr. Ranganathan. Now, Pathan Saab, do you believe as a party or above parliament that you can threaten with street violence and veto the Indian public that expresses its will, through parliament? I'm asking you, sir.
Had it been a threat, if your question is over, I will answer.
Please.
Well, Rahul, he was making his submission on the floor of the parliament. If any of his words could have carried the even slightest word of threat, the speaker was very much there. He would have raised objection. He would have blunted whatever he said. But no, whatever Owaisi said today, time and again we have been saying and reiterating today as well that the intentions of the BJP government are malified. They don't want to bring this law to protect the Waqf land, but their intentions are to usurp up the Waqf property belonging to the Muslims. The new amendment, the new law which they want to bring is a total violation of Article 14, 25 and 26 of the
I will not allow that.
That is why
we
when
will
the
no
JWC
more
was
come and
formed-
give a diplomatic talk over here. What does this mean? What is the opposite of diplomat?
Who said so?
Mr. Owaisi has said this.
No. You allow me to make my point. What Owaisi said was, if this law is brought into existence, that will be a hue and cry in the country. No Muslim will accept this, and the entire community is against the new law which the Modi government wants to bring.
No,
that is what is said, and we will take all the recourse.
This is a house where I have to stand and speak honestly. That my community, we are proud Indians. It is our property not to give. No. How is it your property? How is it your property?
Of course, it's our property belonging to the Muslims.
No, not, sir, I'm sorry. He's using the first term there. How is it your property? Aapka property kaisa hai?
1 inch of it won't be.
How is it your property, sir, to give or not to give? When Mr. Hang on. When Mr. Owaisi says, when Yogi will return to his mat, when Prime Minister Modi go to the hills, who will save you? What does he mean by this?
Did he say this today?
I'm not saying he said it today. I'm saying when he says things like this, what does he mean? And has the time not come to has the time not come to book people like Mr. Owaisi and throw the key away? Why should he be? Why should he be saying these things?
No. You tell me, if there had been any threat or any such kind of statement, the speaker was there. You are not the speaker of the house.
अगर नुपुर शर्मा को फांसी देना है तो औरंगाबाद के इसी चौराहे के अंदर फांसी दे.
He does not take any objection, but you sitting here want to object to this statement because it is against your agenda.
Let me bring in Sudhanshu Trivedi ji. The BJP is bringing the Waqf Bill, says Owaisi. No, 1 second. Let's put the record straight. He's bringing in, the Modi government is bringing in this bill to usurp Muslim properties. Can you rebut, Mr. Pathan?
Yes.
That's, I just want to put forth just 2 things.
सुन लीजिए सर.
Number one, outside government.
They clearly show that they want to.
सर सुन लीजिए, आप सर यहाँ तकरीर देने नहीं आए हैं सर.
पठान साहब, उनकी भी तो बात सुन लीजिए. Why do you want to drown out his voice? Yes.
आप तकरीर मेरी नहीं सुनना.
I just want to put forth one fact. That
किसी की तकरीर नहीं सुनेंगे to the
सर आपकी तकरीर सुन ली. सवाल उसी पे ही मैंने बेस करके उनसे पूछा है. I have said that Mr. Pathan is claiming that the government is bringing Waqf Bill to take over Muslim property. So can I now get his response?
If the maximum amount of land is with one institution, that is Waqf. If the government, whether it is railway or defense, for managing their land, they are having lakhs of employees, thousands of officers, hundreds of very senior officers. But this entire land, that is 9,60,000 acres, has been managed by just 200 people. Another fact, At the time of independence, it was just 30,000 acres. Now it has become 9,60,000 acres. So on one hand, the community is claiming that they were having so much of land that this has been donated. So they have donated 9,30,000 acres of land, and then they claim that we are in such a miserable, pathetic situation as per such a committee recommendation that we are even more difficult position than the scheduled caste, so we should be given reservation. You cannot have this type of dichotomy which is totally falls flat on the facts. And second thing I would like to say, on the issue of any land dispute, the law says that there is a 12 years limit that you have to claim. Even if a mafia wants to claim, he has to claim within 12 years. And for other things like this Worship Act, the limit has been kept on 15th of August 1947. But for Waqf, there is no limit. Even the Surat Nagar Nigam has been claimed that during the time of Mughals, it uses to be donated by some Mughal Badshah. And like the Tiruchirappalli Mandir has been claimed that it was given, I think, 1562 or 72 by Arcot Nawab. In this fact, I would like to put forth in the front of the millions of viewers that those were the rulers who used to have jizya, who used to have zimmi. They used to have said that as per Sharia, the Muslim has a first right over the property because non-Muslims are considered zimmi. Okay. All those rulers have got the titles of Ghazi, which means who has managed to kill thousands of non-Hindus, sorry, non-Muslims. That was Hindus at the time, including Akbar. Does the constitution approves the dictates or the farmans of those rulers who believe in Jizya, Zimmi and Ghazi? I think this is the biggest mockery of constitution which has been made by our previous rulers just for the sake of some hardline fundamentalist voters which they consider themselves as whole soul seller of the entire Muslim vote bank.
So here is a simple question.
Get rid Muslim vote bank
okay,
out of
here is a simple question to you, Mr. Pathan. And I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan right after. Simple question to you, Mr. Pathan.
Rahul, may I just...
No, simple question to you, sir.
Rahul, why do I say that this law which the... Rahul, why do I say that the law which the Modi government is trying to bring, the intentions are wala fide? Because I said against the constitution. Why? Because under the constitution, equality is mentioned. Here under Hindu Endowment Board, do you have any Muslims? Will you allow any Muslim to enter into the Hindu Endowment Board as a chairman or as a trustee or as a committee member? No. Then why do you want to enter into our property of the Waqf? That is what the amendment says. The collector will be involved. That is why we say the equality is violation.
Sir, there is no law that forbids anyone from... hang on. There is no law that forbids anyone from becoming any minority from becoming a member of...
there is a law.
One second. Just one second.
To enter into the Hindu Endowment Board. Will you allow?
Please, sir. You are talking about secularism. Owaisi Sahab, you are talking about secularism, the party that championed sending people to Hajj on public money. You are talking about, sir, secularism. The party that comes out and says that Hindus should not have control over their temples, but you can.
We say...
Bizarre. One second. One second. You are talking about secularism, sir. You are talking about secularism.
NEDA is earning money.
One second. Dr. Ranganathan needs to come in here. Quick points.
I keep on talking about secularism and I will keep on talking about secularism.
Sir. Wow. आप मुझे यही बता दीजिए, sir, since you believe so much in secularism, are Ahmadiyas Muslims or not? Are Ahmadiyas Muslims or not, sir? Are Ahmadiyas Muslims or not?
That we have discussed it time and again.
No, you tell me, since you believe in secularism, since you believe in, equal rights, freedom of religion, you tell me, are Ahmadiyas Muslims or not?
Or they are non-Muslims.
There. See, no answers will come, viewers, because they're selective. Selective, and selective. One second. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Let's have some hard facts. Okay, Mr. Pathan, I heard you. Let's get in Dr. Ranganathan. Yes.
Look, Rahul, Faris Pathan साहब क्या चल रहा है? मतलब you've taken 5 minutes. मेरा अभी टर्न आया. Please wait for your turn. मेरे बड़े भाई हैं आप. ऐसे कर रहे हैं. आपने खुद ये वचन मुझे दिया था कि अगर असदुद्दीन ओवैसी मुझ पे केस करते हैं तो आप लड़ेंगे मेरे डिफेंस में. तो प्लीज ऐसा मत करिए. मुझे बोलने दीजिए दो चीजें. Look, Rahul, I need to make a couple of points out here. Number one, it may surprise you, it may shock you, but I stand 100% next to Asaduddin Owaisi. He is my leader because he is 100% correct. And if I was Modi, thank God I'm not, I would be having this shoulder shaking laughter and saying, Asaduddin, what you're saying is absolutely right. What Asaduddin is saying is, I dare the government to not bring this law, the amendment. And Modi would say, yes, we are not going to bring the Waqf amendment because we're going to abrogate the damn act. ये करना चाहिए. Look, I have nothing against the Waqf board. You can have hundreds of boards if you want. You have charities, NGOs, you have all organizations dictating whatever they want to say. My problem is with the act, because that is a parallel government. If at all you want to have a Waqf act, then you have a similar act for Hindus. Let Hindus, and that through that act, take control of hundreds of thousands of mosques. And then the Muslims who are aggrieved party go to the Hindu Act Tribunal rather than a court to first decide. 24 घंटे में line पे आ जाएंगे ये. 24 घंटे में. This is the problem. So if I were Modi, I would agree with Asaduddin Owaisi and I would say, yes, you are absolutely right. We dare not bring the act, Amendment Act. We're going to scrape it.
Trivedi Saab, you are constantly hearing Mr. Pathan coming out and saying things like, we believe in secularism. If they believed in secularism, sir, why do they want to put the Sharia and what flows from the Sharia above the will of Sansad or Parliament?
Their secularism is that if there is a claim of Hindus that this was our temple, they cannot go to court. Places of worship act. The apostle of secularism. And if the Muslim says that this land is mine, then the person who is owning the land cannot go to court. He has to go to tribunal of the Waqf. That is the Waqf Board Act, another apostle of secularism. So, and one more thing. If there is a conflict between even Supreme Court and Sharia, then the Parliament of India will trounce the judgment of the Supreme Court and put Sharia over and above the Supreme Court, Shabano case. That is an apostle of secularism. I think secularism has been that word which has been most dastardly misused in post-independence era, and that has done damage to the Muslims also. मैं वारिस पठान साहब आपसे कहना चाहूंगा, before the secularism world came, Muslims की पहचान क्या थी? बड़े बड़े फनकार, नगमा निगार, हसरत जयपुरी, शकील बदायूनी, साहिर लुधियानवी, जोश मलियावादी, अकबर इलाहाबादी, कैफी आजमी, उस्ताद अभी जाकिर हुसैन की डेथ हुई है, उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां, उस्ताद जाकिर हुसैन, उस्ताद अमजद अली खां. अब क्या हो गए? जाकिर नायक, इशरत जहां, अफजल गुरु, this याकूब मेनन, sir, Abu Salem, Chota Shakil, Mukhtar Ansari, Atiq Ahmad.
Pathan
This
Saab,
has
do
become
you believe?
the change
Pathan
which
Saab,
the secularism has brought to your community.
Pathan Saab,
the
do you believe?
damage done to,
Do you
is
believe?
to the Muslim community and the
Do you
Muslim
support?
identity.
Do you support Pathan Saab, the Places of Worship Act 1991? Simple, straight question.
Well, it is there pending before the Honorable Supreme Court.
No, I'm asking you, do you support it, yes or no? Do you support it, yes or no?
Of course, there's places of worship.
Okay, of course we support it. Viewers, what does the Places of Worship Act do? The Places of Worship Act, if they were so secular and they believe that all religions should be equal, it disenfranchises Hindus. They can't go to court to fight for their own lands. Viewers, that is how secular.
That is what Sudhanshu ji is
Dr.
lying.
Ranganathan.
That is where Sudhanshu's lies are being caught. If you are agreed by the order passed by the Waqf Board, you can file appeal before the higher court. You can go to the High Court, you go to the Supreme Court.
Dr. Ranganathan.
This is what they are fear-mongering the people. They are spraying lies.
Sir, you don't want a whole community to go to court. What are you talking about? Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, very quickly, I want to wrap out. I don't have much time. Okay.
या वेरी क्विकली, सुधांशु जी मेरे बड़े भाई हैं, मैं इनसे ये कहना चाहता हूँ, जो कह रहे हैं ना कि 50-60 साल पहले आपके हीरोज कुछ और थे, मुस्लिम्स अब एक्सट्रीमिस्ट हैं, नहीं, ये 100-150 साल से इंडिया में इनके एक्सट्रीमिस्ट हीरो हैं. जिन्ना, अलामा इकबाल, इल्मुद्दीन की कहानी जानते हैं आप सब, ऐसा है. तो देयर इज नथिंग न्यू, देयर इज नो चेंज. लेकिन मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूं, आपने तो जले पे, हमारे जले पे नमक ही नहीं छिड़का सुधांशु जी, डेगी मिर्च का तड़का लगा दिया. 10 साल से आपकी सरकार है, अभी आप कैस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं. ये कैसा सेक्युलरिज्म, प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट, तो आप एब्रोगेट करिए.
एब्रोगेट कीजिए. Okay, one second. First things first, viewers. I don't want to label an entire community as people who lionize one or the other. This is not about that. The community has its heroes. Some of them are maybe radicals, extremists, two-nation enthusiasts. Others are also secular. So I don't want to completely generalize, but fundamentally, viewers, there is a real problem when one community decides, or at least spokespeople on behalf of that community get up and say, no, I'm sorry, Parliament is not supreme, our Sharia is supreme, our laws are supreme. That can't work, viewers, and that should not work. And people who are actually using that should actually be prosecuted. One hopes that Mr. Owaisi, either his remarks are expunged, privilege motion is moved against him, or some action is taken. I leave it at this, viewers. The Vantage with Palki Sharma.
Presented by.
After Arvind Kejriwal questioned the Election Commission of India, now the Election Commission has hit back as it is posted on Twitter, on social media platform X, and this is what the post is reading. I'm quoting from it. The three-member commission collectively noted repeated deliberate pressure tactics to malign ECI in Delhi elections as if it is a single-member body and decided to have constitutional restraint, observing such outbursts with sagacity, stoically, and not to be swayed by such insinuations. This is the latest reaction by the Election Commission of India. This is over charges by Arvind Kejriwal claiming that the workings of the ECI need to be looked upon as they are politically driven. Now, my colleague Arunima is with us on the broadcast. Arunima, ECI is completely putting out its statement and saying that these are insinuations and the Election Commission doesn't want to be swayed by it or respond to it, and yet this particular tweet.
Yes, so they want to put it out on record that all the allegations that have been made by the political parties, the Election Commission is not ignoring it. They are well aware of the kind of political insinuation that is being made, but because of the constitutional position that the Election Commission of India has, they are refraining from getting into a tutu meme on political divide between the ruling side and the opposition. What is really triggering this outburst? If you recall, from this morning onwards, Atishi, who's the Chief Minister of Delhi, she's